Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's DJ. So today we have a history class. I'm going to be doing a couple of these. I was given a gift recently. Um, so it's the bicentennial issue of Life magazine, 100 events that shaped America. Now, the one thing that I do have to say is shaped not so much America, but the United States of America. I think a lot of times people forget that we live in North America. There's also South America. There's also Central America. But even North America isn't just the U.S. That is also Canada, and there are other places as well. So this is really the 100 events that shaped the United States of America into what it is today. So that's also part of history. Make sure we remember we're not all of America. There's a lot more to America and American history than the United States of America history. But I'm not going to go over every single one. There are a lot of things that shaped the history of America, of the United States of America. We're going to go over some of the topics. I'll pick and choose. If there's anything you want to know more about, please let me know. If there's something maybe throughout history that you didn't know and want to know, I will let you know. But I don't want to go through it, in order or chronologically. I'd rather it be kind of interesting parts of history that helped shape the country that we live in. And so today, what we're going to talk about, especially since it's football season, and I hope that the 49ers start to do better, but that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, I had it marked here. Now I can't find my page. Let me see. Where is it? Hey, I think my bookmark might have fallen out, which is always fun. So instead of having you watch me look for it again, I'm going to pause it. I'll be right back. And I'm back, like magic. Okay, so here's a picture. So there's a guy there holding what appears to be a giant piece of gold, shining. And so opening the West is what it's called. So in search of easy pickings from a giant load, a stampede of fortune hunters raced each other across the wilderness and though few got rich, they opened up a continent. So the interesting thing about the history of America of the United States of America, I apologize, is even when people first came to the New World, like, Columbus showed up, and I have my opinions about him, but I'll keep them to myself. But people showed up, and really what they came in search of was gold, and there honestly is not that much gold in the United States. But a lot of people thought that it was going to be, tons of gold, tons of jewels, all these things that actually didn't happen. What mostly happened was spices were found that people didn't know about and things like that. And really it just became a land of entrepreneurs to kind of create something new. But as with anything, everybody was in search of gold. And there was something that was called basically like gold fever, that people would get this rush just to be like, I'm going to find gold, and that's the most important thing. And so what happened was, because there really wasn't as much gold as anybody thought, but somebody found gold in California, and people had really stopped kind of migrating west, because they're like, the mountains got more dangerous, the Sierra Nevada, you have the Wasatch Mountains, you have the Rocky Mountains, and a lot of people died. But then with one person kind of finding some gold, it really expanded out really fast. And people are like, all right, goodbye, family. And then I'll get to why they call them the 49ers in a little bit. But anyway, so let's go through the history. So The way of the young California miner. So just imagine yourself back in the day. You're hearing about gold. You're a miner. You know how to, dynamite was invented, I'm pretty sure, to blow things up in order to kind of dig deep into mountains or underground to try to find gold. So you saw the guy there holding the piece of gold. So the young California miner held that lump of gold-bearing rock. One would think it was the Holy Grail, an impression enhanced by the photographer, who colored it yellow and even added a halo. Yeah. The miner's reverential pose was more than justified. His gold was worth at least $1,500 at that time, when a laborer could be hired back east for $1 a day. So $1 a day, when as you find a piece of gold like that, and that's $1,500. So, think about 365 days a year. You get paid $1 a day. That's $365 a day for, So really, you times that into, that's almost retirement right there, just having that piece of gold. So it was visions of instant wealth such as this that fueled the California gold rush of 1849. So that's where 49er comes in. And I'll kind of tell you my version of why I think that the 49ers, the football team, are called 49ers. One of the most bizarre episodes of collective mania since the Crusades. The territory of California had been wrested from Mexico only a year before. It was already an established and civilized land with old missions and ranchos and even some American settlers. So, honestly, California was a part of Mexico until, of course, the gold rush, and then, like everything else, people just took it away from the people that were actually indigenous to that area. But it was also half a continent removed from the settled U.S., whose western frontier had advanced only so far as Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas. Which really, if you look at a map of the U.S., like I said, it wasn't that far. Progress had really kind of stopped. In between was a wilderness known only to the indigenous people, or to the Indians, as they call them here, or American Indians, to mountain men and a handful of Mormons who had betaken themselves 3 years previously to a distant Salt Lake. So that is a little bit about Mormon history as well, is they got to Utah, they found the Salt Lake Valley, and they stopped. They're like, this is us. This is the place, is what they call it. Nonetheless, when the news came in 1849 of fortunes in gold to be found lying loose in the gravel of the Sierra Nevada, 100,000 Americans close shop, kissed their families goodbye, and took off for the West, in wagon trains, alone on horseback, even on foot behind overloaded wheelbarrows. They headed across the prairie, not stopping until they reached the diggings. So this was a huge craze. The people were like, there's gold in them there hills, and then they just took off. And like I said, some people on foot. Some people maybe with one horse by themselves, and just said, you know what, I have a family here, and I love them and everything, but I want a better life for them, and I'm willing to sacrifice my own life to bring back to them a greater life. Or maybe the more selfish people, like, I really don't care about my family, and I'm just going to go get my gold and live out in California for the rest of my time. I don't know. Pardon me. I can't judge every person. Okay, perhaps through the sheer force of their obsession, most of them actually made it. So some people didn't, but most people actually made it. The life they came to share in mining camps, in the rough shanty towns, in the gilded dens of San Francisco, all this belongs to folklore. The reality for most 49ers was a struggle to unearth enough merely to pay off price gouging merchants, which of course people were going to sell things to people going that way, and they could set their price wherever they wanted, really. And the real winners of the gold rush were the merchants. By the mid-50s, the gold was played out. Big mining companies moved to clean up whatever was left, and many by now ragged veterans, hopeful as ever, found out across the mountains from Canada to Mexico in search of fresh streams to pan. Their visitation had been brief and perhaps blighting, but their impact on California and America was lasting. There were 14,000 people in California where they came. When they left, there were almost 500,000. That's huge growth. Think 14,000 people. So 14,000. If you really do the math on that, then 500,000, so that's 500,000 people. That's a huge influx of what? 400 and about 76,000 people more. I mean, 14,000 is not very big. I mean, we have way more people living in certain parts of Richmond than they had in all of California then. In 1850, near the height of the gold rush, California became the 31st state. Its presence immeasurably speeded up the settling of the continent. And that's kind of where it all ended. That was the end of the expansion of America. We made it all the way west to the Pacific. And everything was taken care of. So now that's the thing about the 49ers is no matter what, it was a goal to reach. It was people searching to find a goal, to reach a goal. And the goal was gold, but the goal was also a better life and to actually win. And that's kind of where the 49ers came from. Even though that's, San Francisco is obviously hugely a part of the gold rush. That's, why it's the San Francisco 49ers. But at the same time, it's also named that because they could have named the team anything because they're in search of something better. They're in search of a win. They're in search of gold, the gold trophy, anything like that. So that's been part of one of the 100 events that helped shape America. If there's anything you would like to know more about, please let me know, and I will, hopefully it's in here, and I will expound on it. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you soon.